Hi folks, this is Tim Schrock from Design Build Solutions bringing you today's Tech Tip Tuesday. First of all, a little housekeeping. I gotta apologize. Last week I was not able to get the recording of the live Facebook feed that I did up on my YouTube channel because my phone did not actually save that video. So in the link below I'll put a link to the Facebook video that I believe should still be up on Facebook, and you can check out how I measured. Today's Tech Tip Tuesday is regarding 360 rendering exports, and specifically in this, I've found you've got to take a little extra time, a little extra precaution and care, because you can have a great view of a rendering, and we're all used to exporting what's in front of us. This looks fine, whatever. But I find myself forgetting that there could be, something looking incorrect on the backside of the view that we're not seeing, like this. See how the wall clips in the camera angle. So, quickly, when you're taking a rendering, for one thing, I don't drag a long lead like that in dragging the camera angle. I try to keep it pretty short here. When that pulls up, and first of all, I would suggest trying to get in the middle of the room as much as possible. This is a small entryway. It's a small room. The smaller the room, obviously, the more difficult it's going to be. But I'm drawing closer to the corner just to show, to give an example of how to deal with this stuff. So let's go back to the rendering. In my defaults, it's set up with this four-way arrow, which is up here, the orbit camera, mouse orbit camera, that spins on the edge of where you drop your camera line. So you click, drag, and wherever you drop that at the end of the cursor is where that's the spinning point of this mouse orbit camera tool. You want to switch to mouse tilt camera, Alt-T on your PC or Option-T on a Mac. So you see my mouse up here. It's a camera with that double-headed arrow. And that's going to then, now it's turning around the camera itself. So you see how things are clipping in the view. The reason we want this camera option versus the mouse orbit camera is that, see, the mouse orbit camera doesn't show the clipping. The mouse tilt camera is actually how the 360 exports, the 360 rendering exports based upon where you are standing. If you look at the, let's go back to plan view. If you look at the camera, and I'm going to drag this out here. If you look at that camera and the line there, right, this is where you are standing. This is your point of focus. The mouse, the first option, the four-way arrow, mouse orbit camera, orbits around this. So your camera is going to be going around like that way. The second, the mouse tilt camera, orbits around, let's change the color of my pen here. Oh, that doesn't help, it doesn't. The mouse tilt camera orbits around where you are standing, and this goes around. So it's just a little different, and that's what, this is the version that the that the export is going to be using. So it's going to take that 360, looking in all of these directions, and that's why I use the the version, the mouse camera controller that I do, this mouse tilt camera. So now you can kind of preview what you're going to be getting from that 360 rendering export. So when I'm in this situation and I see this clipping, I just hit the B key back, or I can be in this situation here and I want to shift a little to the left. So I hit the L key. Whoops. And it's tricky because my mouse is very sensitive to the scrolling function. So let's set this up again here. Mouse tilt camera. We're clipping, so I'm going to hit B for back, and now I'm out of the way. That surface is not clipping, but I turn, and now the surface on my right is clipping, so I want to hit L on my keyboard. And I'm still not quite enough, so I need to go to the right. It's clipping on the left over here, so I hit right. I scoot over to the right. And that's much better. Now you've got a couple of options when exporting your panorama files. You could save it to your disk as a panorama JPEG. You could save it to your Chief Architect Cloud if you were logged in. I save mine to disk and I give it a name and click Save, click OK, and then I upload mine to a website called roundme.com. From here, then I can put a path, if you will, with waypoints of different views of the project into this website. And from the website, they can view it on their computer, or they can view it on their iPhone and put that in the Google Cardboard glasses or whatever glasses, 3D glasses you've got, and update it. It's a simple, there is a free option. There's some limitations on file size and file number or something like that. I think it's for me, it's worth it to pay for the extra. But once you upload this and put the waypoints in there, you can just take this tour. This version, this is an old, we made some revisions since this view. So I'm going into my kitchen view and I'm going to replace this panorama with, in the wrong folder. Let's go back to the right folder here. Kitchen version 3. And while it's processing, I'll go back to the entry. I've already updated this one. You can take a spin around that. See, up and down and left and right. We can move this waypoint over here, save that portal. Dining room. Now this version is not quite accurate, so we're going to go into the dining room. I'll take a view of that. I'm going to take my 360 preview here. Oh, and I'm clipping a little bit, so I'm going to move to the left. The other tip I'll give you is wherever you're pointing the initial camera view, that's kind of the center of what the panorama is going to show up as. So I'm going to export this as dining room version 4. Save. Done with creating the panorama. Now I go into dining room again. I can just replace this panorama with dining room version 4. Let's go back to our kitchen view. And there's what we just uploaded. Now each time I upload a new version, it's just a little bit off the center, so I got to move these waypoints over a little bit and save that portal. Family room, that's fine. There. Entry, living, dining. Okay. So if I weren't in the edit mode, I go into the view mode, I click on dining room, and there's our new dining room view. Exterior, kitchen, living room, etc. Hey, I hope this has been helpful. This is Tim Schrock with Tech Tip Tuesdays, talking about exporting 360 virtual rendering panorama views and how I use them in roundme.com. Thanks so much for watching again this week. Have a wonderful week. Hope to talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.